Sport transfer show, where we'll be bringing you the latest news, rumours, and here we goes from transfers around the world. Dan, it's going to be an interesting summer, isn't it? There's going to be, probably more money ever spent again. There seems to be that record broken every summer now. Let's start with the Saudi Arabian League, who've pulled off a huge 47 million deal to sign Wolves captain Ruben Neves. Before we get into the transfer itself, what are your thoughts on the Saudi Arabian League and what they're sort of trying to do? Or, moreover, that the Middle Eastern countries getting heavily involved into football, the World Cup, buying clubs, taking the biggest names over there as well. It's looking like a different sort of beast in terms of the money they have.
It's certainly one way of getting quick and easy exposure. I mean, I did an interview last week with Kieran Maguire, a football finance expert, who explained beautifully as to, sort of why they're doing it and, exposure, a quick, relatively cheap gain for them as well. Realistically, it's pennies to them. How much this, even though it seems like an awful lot to us, it's probably pennies to them. So yeah, it's they clearly want to make their domestic league better, and also probably in doing so their national team better. Of course, they had that success beating eventual world champions Argentina at the World Cup, but didn't quite progress as far, obviously. But regardless, I think that probably stirred the emotions enough.
Neves is the start of this possible. He's the first sort of top player that's gone during his prime. Is that sort of a bit of a worrying sign? Do you think maybe more players are going to follow suit with that?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, Neves, I can't quite understand the thinking there because, as you quite rightly say, it's not like he's, mid-30s. He's still sort of mid to late 20s when you're in your prime in terms of football, playing well in the Premier League, so possibly the most, competitive league in the world. Is it for the football challenge or is it just for the money?
Plenty going on in the Premier League as well. We can't sort of let the Saudis take over our eyes on the news that's coming in and out of there. A big name with someone settled at PSG was Neymar. I spoke to Manchester World writer Michael Plant with some news regarding the Brazilian and a possible bit of interest from Manchester United.
Ten Hag's firm stance on discipline and you look how he dealt with Ronaldo, how he dealt with Garnacho, even that game against Wolves earlier in the year when he dealt with Rashford for being late for a team meeting. He's a disciplinarian, and I just can't see that working. I mean, I haven't heard anything. If there's any interest in Neymar, I would be surprised if there was. It just doesn't seem like a transfer that would work for me. And I mean, you mentioned Messi and Neymar. I mean, even so Mbappe being linked with United recently. So the rumours are in full swing at this stage.